We are recording.
Awesome, awesome. Good evening, everyone, and thank you for joining the G.Y.M, otherwise known as Grow Your Mind, where we are talking all Tower Garden, Tower Power, and we have some powerful speakers this evening for you. We have educators, because this is all about the teachers, and thank all the teachers out there. I know it's a chaotic environment you're going through right now, but if anybody can do it, you can do it. So thank you for all you're doing for those students, and please be safe. But we have some powerful, amazing teachers this evening that are going to talk about their experiences with the Tower Garden, not only with their students, but in their home also, because there's so much that you can do with this Tower Garden. It's just unbelievable. I actually have two of them, so I'm talking from experience. And a young lady on the call tonight, she said that she just got her home version of the Tower Garden, and she's already calling her little seedlings her babies. And that's how the Tower Garden makes you feel, like you're raising a bunch of kids, and it's just a beautiful feeling knowing that you're growing your own fruits and vegetables. But we're going to get right into that. Well, first let me introduce myself. My name is Troy Richardson, and I'm with this amazing company called Juice Plus. I've been here about almost a year and a half. I'm a U.S. Air Force veteran, and I use Juice Plus in my organization that I work with veterans, and we help them with their health and nutrition, and Juice Plus is a big part of that. It's been instrumental in helping so many veterans with their health. I can't even just thank Juice Plus enough for everything that it's doing in my life and the life of other people that I'm touching. But we're going to get started tonight with a young lady who's right here in the greater Maryland, Washington, D.C. area with me. And she teaches at Flowers High School, and she's doing an amazing, phenomenal job. She has vast experience, as you will learn from her. But please welcome Lynette House to the call.
And they have a.
All right, I'm on. No, I had a little one that came in here to interrupt me. So that's why I was trying.
That's okay. We're letting people know we are real, we're human, we got the kids, everything's going on around us. So yes.
So 3 of my grandkids are here. So hello, like you said, my name is Lynette Wright House, and my journey started with Juice Plus probably about 8 years ago when I became a customer. And I would just flood my system. I didn't know what I was doing. I was just eating it. You know, when my upline said, hey, you want to try this? I said, of course. If it's healthy, I'll try it. And so her story was phenomenal. And so I said, hey, if her story is like that, mine can be that way as well. So I was a customer for about 4 years. And so when I started giving the product away to this person and that person, and my upline said, you need to stop playing. Come on and join us, you know. And I said, okay, because my thing was, I don't want to sell anything. But when I got into the company, I realized it was about inspiring healthy lives. And that's what I really enjoy the most. And I'm a fine arts major, so I was a dance major. I've been certified fitness instructor. And so I've been into movement and change all my life. And so then I went into education and I worked at Parks and Recreation. So when my Tower Garden interest came about 2 years ago now, and I watched it for a minute because I said, I don't know, is this expensive? It seems expensive. So I watched it for a minute. And so when I looked at the cost of how much the tower cost me and how much it was costing me to bring the produce in my house about every 2 weeks, juicing or eating just regular greens, I felt that it was more cost effective for me to have the produce in my house than to pay $100 every 2 weeks. And I got a couple $100 on my tower. So that I convinced myself to go ahead and get the Tower Garden. So I became a customer of Juice Plus and the Tower Garden before I became a representative. So of course, once I got the towel, I just thoroughly enjoyed it. And like Troy said, I work at Charles Herbert Flowers High School, and I thought, who can I sell this to the school? So I went to, we have a Pro Start program, and that's a cooking program. I don't think the chef would call it a cooking program, but it's a Pro Start program, and it actually enables the children, once they get out of that program, to be certified to go off into restaurants. So they do have their certification once they finish, and he actually brought the program to the school. But he was like, I don't know if I have time to do that. Go, check with Miss Ogenta. So I said, okay, the environmental teacher. So I went to the environmental teacher, and she was on board immediately. So she bought a tower immediately. She also signed up as a rep immediately. And we went to the principal, and he said, why not? So he bought 2 towers for the school. And so we got them all, we got the kids involved. And any educators on here that, who hasn't done this, you gotta get the kids involved from the beginning throughout, and they put the tower together. Ms. Ogenta didn't think they could. I should say Dr. Ogenta didn't think they could. I said, look, I was over in another area working. I said, I'm not putting that tower together. Have those kids, send a kid over here. So I said, go to YouTube. It's a tutorial. Y'all put it together. And she was like, I can't believe they put those towers together. Yes. Okay, hold on for a sec.
That's a true educator. She's getting them straight right now.
And she knew enough to mute it so we didn't hear it too.
Well, I didn't know. They were here Sunday when I was in Sunday school, and they called me after and said, girl, you want your grandchildren? No, you can't. I didn't mute then. But anyway, so they put it together, and then it was time to eat it. Like Tim Blank says, you have to eat it, because if you don't, it's going to be bitter. So they had all this produce, and they just want to look at it. I said, it was 2 teachers. I said, y'all got to eat it. And so, of course, when they picked it, at first I thought the taste was different for them because it was all straight off the tower. But I believe now the taste was a little different because they took so long to take it off the tower and eat it. But they did have a little party and celebrated and, pulled it off. And the kids really enjoyed growing their own. So that was my experience with school. And I also work for Parks and Recreation in Maryland during the summer, every summer. And I do a nutrition portion for that. And so I always introduce eating healthy veggies. And so with that, I have all the students bring in 2 ingredients. We do a salad in a jar party. So I said, bring in a couple ingredients, bring in some greens, and everything has to be straight from the store. And we put the salads in the jar and we put it together, and they just love it. And the most thing them, they said, well, can we eat it now? And I said, well, I guess you can. They're ready to eat it. I want them to take it home and look at it for a little bit. But I'm going to show you a picture of, let me share my screen here. Oh, okay, I can't share. But
Hold on, Lynette. Let me share with
okay. Yeah, and while she's doing that, and it's really intriguing because most people think that children aren't into eating salads, but I've also taught 1st, 2nd, 3rd grade, been a director of kindergarten, preschool, and anytime we bring in veggies and whatever, they eat it all up. So I think they eat differently sometimes when they're away from home, because sometimes their parents are also surprised that they're eating this healthy meal at school. So are you ready?
Yes, see if you can show it now.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
Let's see. Okay. So this is what we do. So I have them bring in the jars, and we also do this at home as well. We have salad in the jars when we're not in the pandemic mode, but I've had them, I've had the salad in the jars, virtual salad in the jars with mutual friends and prospective customers as well. But we put the salads, they bring in their own jar, mason jars, and they bring in the greens and then whatever ingredients they want in their salads. And they go around the table and everybody fills their jars up. See the other product. I can't do like Henry B. All right, so this is the finished product. Now, when the adults do it, you can kind of see more of the layers. But they were shaking them up and doing everything to the salads. So typically you put the salad dressing in the bottom because you don't want to put it at the top because the greens will get wet. So you just kind of layer it, put the hard things, nuts or raisins next, and then just kind of layer it that way, and all the greens go at the top. So then you just turn it over and you have your salad in the jar. And it is considered a good meal prep too, because it can be costly to eat out when you go into work. So you meal prep. Now, that doesn't mean you have to do salads as meal prep, but you know, you just still want to do something healthy, but you want to save yourself some money and time. You can, these salads in the jars last. And then you have all your greens too. Oh my goodness. So I always end with, and Joy would bother me the last time, but I always end with in Daniel 12. Daniel says that he was the chief over the eating. I'm going to say it that way. And the king and his servants were not eating healthy. So Daniel says, let me show you how we can do this. So eating healthy didn't just start in 2020. No, we can see in the Bible, and it's other scriptures that lead us to how we should be eating what God has created for us from the ground. And of course, the ground, in a lot of instances, have we've kind of destroyed the soil and all what we need for the nutrients. And but he says, let me show you. And so for 10 days, give me 10 days, and I'm eating my vegetables and water, and the servants can still eat all the junk they want to eat. And then after 10 days, I'm going to say this, and Troy corrected me last time, but David was looking all lean and mean, ready to go, pumped up, and the servants were looking towed down. Now, Troy said that means tore down. I mean, it's tore down from the floor down. So let me go ahead and say that. But so that's how we want to look from not just the outside, though, on the inside, because a lot of times people look a certain way from the outside, but their insides are looking differently. I have my brother has a young coworker that died a few months ago that was diabetic. He was a head football coach, had everything going for him. They went to state tournament, 35, 32, something like that years old. And he was a small young man. He wasn't big at all, didn't have any signs of looking like he had diabetes at all. But he was diabetic, and I don't think he had taken his insulin. And then the insurance came in because he didn't have insurance, and he went home that day from a friend's house, wasn't feeling good, and he died. But to look at that young man, you never would have thought that he was ill. So we have to take care not just our outside appearance, but we have to take care of the inside as well. So thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lynette, as always, bringing it. Just great information. All those educators and teachers out there that will see this. The key is children's interaction. That's what it's all about. First of all, they're going to learn various principles in science, math, even business, because a lot of these students are actually selling the produce to the teachers and some to the local farmers market. So the possibilities are endless, and the kids are eating what they grow. It's just a win-win-win situation for the school, for the teachers, for the students. But we're going to...
Let me show one more thing, Troy. Okay. I just wanted to show, if you go to towergarden.com, then you can find what you need as far as for teachers. It says cultivate and engage the class. And here it has 6 reasons Tower Garden is a great teaching tool. And you all will hear about Stephen Ritz. But here it shows everything you need to know if you're interested in getting it in your schools. And it also have number 6, 30 CCSS and NGSS aligned lesson plans and learning materials from pre-K all the way, and it says 7th grade, but high school as well. So you don't have to recreate the wheel. Whatever your curriculum says, you just add that to it. You can add it right to it.
Awesome. Yes, you could do everything there except purchase the Tower Garden. So make sure you get back to the person who shared this with you so that they can help you actually purchase the Tower Garden. But we're going to, she mentioned Stephen Ritz, and I want to show you a little bit about the excitement that this Tower Garden brings, especially when you have the energy of a Stephen Ritz. And yeah, excuse me, like I said, real time. My dog, he trying to sneak in the kitchen while I'm on the Zoom. He's slick. But Dr. Shavers, if we can get to the Stephen Ritz video. Thank you so much. Dr. Sandra Shavers, the leader and guider of Team Sentient.
Who wants to play? All right. You're it.
My name is Stephen Ritz, and I am CEO, Chief Eternal Optimist of Bronx County.
We're going to actually grow our own lunch. We're going to grow our own food today. We're going to go from seed to plate.
A Tower Garden is like this plant, but you don't need soil. And then the water comes up, and then it comes down and rain on the roots.
Adults think you can't farm in the South Bronx. Tell it to these kids. They're farming. For so many, food is the problem. Yet for all of us, food is a solution. We have some of the highest rates of juvenile diabetes and juvenile obesity in the nation. And we can change that. We absolutely have the power to change schools in this generation.
I think I still see the seed.
That happens. Exactly.
You mean I can pass it around and they can see the seed in the plant?
My job is to teach kids how we can grow food. And I'm asking everyone to roll up their sleeves and get a little dirty and grow something greater.
He lets us plant stuff like salad, cucumbers, tomatoes.
My 4th and 5th graders came into a classroom with no windows to build a Tower Garden and literally turned it into a farm. And we talked about how healthy food builds healthy minds and healthy bodies. And where are we doing it? Right here in school.
So did everybody plant a seed?
The excitement and the joy that these little kids feel putting a seed in the ground and watching it blossom. OMG, as they say. This is their moment.
I think he cares about us a lot, and he wants us to learn and have fun at the same time.
I'm not a farmer, but I'm planting seeds.
He always says, like, seeds are like people because they need love, and they grow and grow and grow to be successful people.
To use 21st century technology to generate food and to create this beautiful thing to sit by that you can actually eat is game-changing. It's empowering. They're growing. The plants are growing, and they're responsible for it. And when they know they can grow their own, they really start changing the way they see their relationship to the world and their place in it.
Where you going? You gonna eat it? Is it good? I love it. Thank you. Okay, we're gonna go back and then we're gonna get something to eat now.
Every time I see it, it's the same reaction. And that little girl, I swear, one day I hope to meet her, but the seeds are like people. You love them and they grow to be successful. I mean, the messages that Stephen Ritz is giving, but for the kids to be able to articulate and grasp and be able to talk about what they're getting out of the Tower Garden, that means that they're really getting what he's trying to give them, and that's a lot of love and just empower them with the knowledge. So you best believe those kids are going to grow up eating their fruits and vegetables, and their kids will continue to do the same. So this is the power of the Tower Garden. And we're going to show you in a little while, we're going to show you a video of the Tower Garden, how easy it is to actually put together and just, it's an amazing educational and family growing device that every family should have. And I believe by the year 2030, 70% of all families will have a Tower Garden. If we have anything to do that, I know it will. But next we have a young lady out of Dooley County, Georgia, where she is an educator, I believe an administrator. She's the director of special education down at Dooley County Schools. And if I got that title description wrong, Felicia, please just correct me. But let me introduce Miss Felicia Madison.
Hello, everyone.
Hello, Felicia.
Okay, just want to make sure you can hear me. As Troy has already said, he's joked with me when he asked me what my title was, and when I sent him the information, he was like, "Wow!" But what you have to understand is when you're in a rural small district, you wear a lot of hats. So the full title is Special Education Director, Pre-K Director, and District Coordinator for Pre-BIS. So I have an extensive role of jobs that I do for my district, but I love it all.
Now, Felicia.
Yes.
Since you're gonna put me out there now, hold up. Hold up. Okay. I asked you what is on your business card. Is that actually on your business card?
It is. It is how I sign all my emails. I have to put every one of those titles in my email because depending on who it's going to, they need to know what I do.
Go ahead, sister. Go ahead. Okay. All right.
So I want to first of all say thank you, Ms. House. I think I could have echoed everything that you just said. So some of what I do say will echo or repeat some of what you've already said. But I want to control the screen for just a second as well. And I may be able to do a screen share is showing on mine. Can I?
Hold on 1 second. Let me make you a co-host, and that way you can.
Dr. Shea was really like, she don't let anybody just be a co-host.
Go ahead, Felicia.
Okay.
Good mood tonight.
Okay, so are you viewing a picture of me?
No, not yet.
Okay, it's still spinning.
Okay.
Let me know when you see it, and I'll start my talking.
Okay. We just see you right now on the screen.
Okay.
You are a co-host though, so you should. Yeah, you are a co-host.
But while we're waiting for that amazing.
Let me try it once again.
Okay. There, it's loading now.
Okay.
Okay, we see you and your son. Okay, now we see you. Oh, two yous.
Okay, this is what I wanted to start off by telling a little bit about my story. If you see the split screen picture of me, my story is that of someone who's been morbidly obese most of my life, but I have successfully lost 100 pounds. I give Juice Plus and Juice Plus products some credit for that, but this has been basically a 10-year journey. And here in the last year or so, I would say a lot of that support has now come from the Juice Plus Complete Shakes because I use those as a morning meal substitute, along with the plants and vegetables that I'm receiving from my tower. So I just kind of want you to see my transformation and give you a little of my story. Also, one of the reasons that I selected or started to use the Juice Plus products is because I found myself being highly anemic. And so after some time, a good bit of time of going in and getting those low iron readings, I started to use the Juice Plus capsules and sometimes the chewables as well. And on my return to my next doctor's visit, I was at an amazing increase of over 2 points, and I had risen from a 9.9, I believe it was at the time, to almost a 12. And that was amazing. And just the amount of energy that I had, the goal, the drive. Some days are much harder than others, but I now find myself on my daily adventures. I make time for myself where I set aside at least an hour a day to get some exercise in. So I find myself walking anywhere from 3 to 5 miles a day. And so all those things have kind of worked to help the transformation that you see before you. The other thing I wanted to share with you is the transformation of my tower. Do we see that picture?
Yes.
Okay, my tower is young. I only started my tower in July. So the picture on the left is the picture from July 4th, and the picture on the right is today. That is actually what my tower looks like right now. There are a variety of greens on there. The top half is primarily different lettuces, but on the back side, there's also green onion, mint, chives. I have even some flowering plants, violas on the back side. I guess I should have turned around and maybe did a video. And down near the bottom, because I do need green leafy vegetables, I have cabbage and collards growing. And so I'm just so proud because especially with the cabbage and collards, they went off to a very, very slow start. I thought I was gonna lose them, but they are bouncing back. And so soon we're gonna have some fresh collards and fresh cabbage being served in my house. And I also have a 9-year-old son. I'm gonna stop sharing now. And so he takes pleasure just as I do every morning in walking by the tower, and we're just trying to see, wow, how much growth did we get overnight? Because it's just amazing to see the power of what it does to start from the seed process to where we are now with our plants. And so what I'm hoping to be able to do is transform that into some of our classrooms, especially with my pre-K classes, and my special education classes. I just really believe those students would really enjoy seeing that process. And the other thing that I've done to kind of share and spread this joy is I've been using the social media platforms to spread the love. And so I have people who come up and say, well, wow, what's going on? That just really looks like a science experiment. And so then we jump into that conversation. Yeah, it is kind of like a science experiment. And we start to talk about how it's a science experiment and what it really does teach students and teach kids. And so I'm also working with my school nutrition director, and we're hoping that we can somehow find the funding to put several of these in some of our classrooms in our building. Oh, another thing that I've been experiencing with my tower, another couple of things actually, is I also do Meatless Mondays. And so my tower garden provides for a lot of the vegetables that I'm using on Mondays to accomplish Meatless Mondays. I'm not trying to be vegan or any of that, but I am just doing it as a healthy term to realize I don't have to have meat with every meal, and to just incorporate more vegetables and fruit into those Mondays throughout the week, but specifically on Monday. And meal prepping is very important when you undertake that. So that's the other thing that I'm doing a lot with the garden is a lot of meal prepping for the entire week, similar to the jars that we saw from Mrs. House's presentation. And I think that's about it, Troy.
Hey,
You know,
Felicia.
Troy,
Yeah.
before you say anything, I have to say, I love seeing Felicia's tower garden because I know when she first got it, the lights didn't come with it. And now to see it just, you know, so beautiful like that and producing like that, that is just amazing. Plus, Felicia, I don't know if you know how powerful that photo is. I mean, because it's just really indicative of your determination and motivation and everything that you did to make that happen. So it's very inspirational.
Thank you. And
No.
that's my Juice Plus Tower Garden story at this point. I didn't say this to begin with, but I am kind of new to the business, new to it all. So I've probably been in about 6 months maybe. And so I'm still learning and growing just as my tower garden is learning and growing.
Yeah, but you've been familiar with the tower garden for much longer than that.
Right, much longer than that. Because I was introduced some time ago, but you know, it's like, I think with we finally experienced, you know, sometimes you have to see things several times before you jump on board and realize the things you do. Yeah.
Yes. And it's great that you do see the benefit and the need to get it in those schools, because you know what it can do for those kids that it's going to touch, and also the teachers, because a lot of teachers, they end up getting the tower garden to go home with them. So it's just contagious. Everyone loves growing. It's not just for the kids. Adults get excited too, just like us. But let's show the people, Dr. Shavers, before you get on. Let's show them the tower garden video.
Okay, let's see what we can come up with here.
And I believe Gay Russell joined the call, right?
Yes.
He's been on beginning, yeah.
1 second, guys.
Take your time. This is real time here. This is, you know, they even had hiccups at the last Grammys.
Ah.
But the special needs, the special education, we have a lot of experience with that. So we have the resources for you as we can get information to you. I met a teacher today that was very excited about the concept of what I was telling her about, how it impacts the kids. And I was telling her about Gay Russell, who's a licensed clinical social worker out of Chicago that is utilizing the Tower Garden with so much success. And hopefully we will get Gay Russell to speak about that before the night ends.
Okay, here we go.
Garden's state-of-the-art aeroponic vertical garden system uses both water and air to produce more colorful, better-tasting, and incredibly nutritious fruits, vegetables, and herbs. Tower Garden has a 20-gallon reservoir at its base that stores the Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Developed by experts in plant and human nutrition, Tower Tonic Mineral Blend enables superior plant growth and better nutrition from your Tower Garden produce. The process begins once the seedlings have been placed in your Tower Garden. Here they will be nourished with Tower Tonic nutrient solution. Inside the reservoir is a small, low-wattage submersible pump. The pump pushes the nutrient solution up through the tower to the top. From there, the nutrient solution drips through the central tower using a special device that evenly cascades the solution over the exposed plant roots. On the journey down the tower, the nutrient solution feeds the roots and becomes highly oxygenated as it cascades gently down the reservoir. This process is continuous, providing fresh oxygen, water, and nutrients to the roots of the plants. This patented aeroponic process enables food crops to grow faster than they would in soil, so they can be harvested more often. And it makes Tower Garden the healthier, easier, smarter way to grow your produce.
It's that simple, folks. We are not talking rocket science. We're talking science, but we're not talking rocket science. So easy that even a man can do it. And I'm telling you, I did it. Actually, I had my kids put mine together. So it's just amazing. I can't speak enough about how excited I am about my Tower Garden. And like Felicia, I received mine in July, and I didn't get my lights right away, so it took a little time. But I've had 2 harvests. I've actually given away to 3 families bags of lettuce, kale, basil, arugula, and they loved it. I mean, I had someone, I already done the census, handed in my census, done it online, but someone was walking through doing the census. And so I just struck up the conversation and I asked her, listen, are you eating good? You like fresh vegetables? I said, would you like some? And they can't come in the house, but I opened up my door and she saw the Tower Garden. She's like, oh my God. So I gave her a bag full and, gave her my card and, just struck up that conversation. Her and the 3 kids love vegetables. Her husband loved them. So hopefully, she'll get back to me and we'll get a nice partner or a client, customer that's eating healthy. And that's what it's all about, sharing the knowledge, sharing the love, because we love what we do, inspiring healthy living. Everyone on this call, that's what we do. Like-hearted, like-minded, and like-spirited people that just love pouring in the others. So Dr. Sandra Shavers, as I said, Dr. Shavers is an educator. She's the leader of Team Sentient, which is a team within the Juice Plus organization. And she just has been pouring into kids and college students all over, mainly in Georgia, but she loves just sharing her experiences with others, and you're going to really enjoy what she has to tell you tonight. So, Dr. Shavers, the stage is yours.
Okay, I'm unmuted now. So I see that on our screen, it's having trouble getting stuck. But can you guys hear me?
And see you, yes.
Okay, so like Troy said, Team Sentience is such a pleasure, and I'm so thankful for people like Troy and Felicia and Carnet's on tonight, and maybe some others. They really make it easy to have a team. And so thank you guys. But I also want to say that I started my journey almost six years ago with Juice Plus, and about 5 years ago with the Tower Garden. Like Felicia and like Carnet, I had issues with exhaustion. My iron was low. I had lower back pain. Every Friday I got a headache and needed Advil or Motrin or something to alleviate that. My hair was shedding all over the bathroom floor. Every time I combed it, it was dry, it was brittle. I was having hot flashes, and I'm telling on myself, even though Juice Plus is kind, I was having so many hot flashes, it was really unbearable. So it was at the right time that I met a colleague who is on this call tonight, Miss Gay Russell, who introduced me to Juice Plus. And literally, I went from, like Felicia said, labs that showed a low iron level to 12.7, and energy to burn. I had been juicing, but that was so inconvenient and time consuming and expensive to keep fresh vegetables all the time, especially if you're going to try to do the rainbow. So, you know, here I am today, and I take no medications. I was taking iron. I was spending $64 a month on Source of Life Gold vitamin. I did not know about isolated vitamin and how harmful they potentially could be. And they were making me feel a little bit better, but the energy I have now is totally different. So about 5 years ago, we ordered our first tower. We loved it so much, about 6 months later, my husband ordered a second one. So now we have two. And we've introduced it to several school systems at this point because we know now how powerful these can be. One of the things I'm so proud of is I had an opportunity to take some college students to Trinidad and Tobago. And the reason I love that is because the students that I was working with came from a small town university, and they were basically local people who came to a local university. And when I say local, maybe as much as 200 miles away, but hadn't. And the neat thing is that these students had never really traveled, and many of them had never been on an airplane. So I love introducing students to new opportunities. And they went to Trinidad and Tobago for 3 weeks and got a global, more of a global perspective than they've ever had before. And for me, that just meant everything. So I see the Tower Garden in a similar way. I see it being able to take the kids away from the desk and the pencil and paper. And that's one thing Stephen Ritz talks about, is making the world their classroom. And so I love the fact that the Tower Garden, you know, these kids start talking about vermiculite and rock wool. They start talking about aeroponic gardening. I mean, where else were they going to learn this? So I really just want to share, if I hope I can get to it, I want to share something that I posted on Facebook today. Let's see if I can get to it. Of course, you know, but I sometimes have trouble with it. Let's see.
We don't want to see the one with Don by the pool now.
Don't make me laugh. You know, it doesn't take much to confuse me here. Let's see. Maybe I could start with this. No, that's oh, here we go. I think this is it. Yeah. Okay. So this is this is not the first one. Let's see. Let's start here. Let's start here. These are actually my grandkids. Just omit my oldest grandson came back from a visit with some family with his do-rag. So that's the new thing now. He's a tween. So he has, you know, this that he ties his hair up with. And then the baby came over here yesterday with his hair half braided. So, okay, so that's what we're working with. But what I really love is that they are actually planting seeds in this tray, in this medium called rock wool, I'm sorry, ROCKWOOL, rock wool. And this rock wool has the holes where you would plant the seeds. And you see how engrossed they already are. These are seed, you know, seed packs. Now these are old, so I hope they make it, because I stopped doing seeds for a while and started doing seedlings. But I love when they can see it, like Lynette said, from the beginning. So here they are putting little tiny seeds in each one of those holes. And mainly what we were planting was kale. You can see the tower garden back here in the background. And so this is them still putting, you know, a few seeds in each hole. And this is the tower garden on the screen porch. And as you can see, we've harvested out a few things. So we wanted to grow some more kale in here. This is our mint that's you know, out of control. And then on the other side, there's some.
Potatoes. Are you guys seeing? I'm not seeing that. Am I the only one?
No, we don't see any of your pictures.
Oh, thank you for saying that. Let's see. Gosh, y'all let it go a while.
Well, I ain't gotten up to right there. Come on, like, am I the only one not seeing it?
Oh, no. Both are checked. So let me know this time. Do you see it now?
Yes.
You
yes.
do? Okay. So here's my grandson with the mister in his hand, because we discovered through many of the webinars that Juice Plus offers that the towers like to be misted. I was saying that a few of the ports are empty now, and that is why, let me go back. That is why they are planting these seeds in the rock wool, okay? Because we have a few ports that have been harvested out and we want to replace them. So he has a water bottle. He's getting ready to mist the plant. And he loves doing that. He's a tween. But so then I asked him to find the sunny spot in the yard. We have squirrels like crazy, so we can't keep a lot of stuff in the yard. But this table seems to be okay. We can't even keep the cushions in the chairs because the squirrels will eat the foam out of the cushion and just destroy them. But so far, they don't get on this table. So this is where we place the rock wool. There's full sun, and they're learning about that. So out here, they were putting the vermiculite, that's what I'm holding here, over the seed. And they were getting to do this from the very beginning. And I'm trusting that you guys can hear and see. So this is what's so funny. They loved it. And Jalen has, you know, he's in kindergarten. So we did this actually during a break. So that's what they were doing. Here we had some cherry tomatoes that needed to be harvested. They are picking those and leaving the green ones. You can't hardly see the green ones because they are blending in with the other greenery. There's some other kale and stuff growing up there and some basil. But This is some of the harvest that they picked. And my husband has a little dirt garden, so BJ found a bell pepper that was ready for harvest, and he was cutting that off. And we're back. So I wanted to share that because this is education beyond the pencil and paper. After a while, I'm doing I homeschooled my kids for several years, but just working with him, I see that when his teacher is on the screen, he's going like the picture that Henry showed. But then when they get around the Tower Garden and I'm asking them, what do you call this? Rock wool. What is this? Vermiculite. They're all excited and you don't get that, oh, but it's learning, and it's learning that they can do hands-on. And I just wanted to share that with you because we are now starting to approach homeschool moms like Nina to consider, purchasing a Tower Garden and letting their kids learn a vocabulary around gardening. And it's so therapeutic. And then they get to eat the food. Jalen wanted to eat the flour because BJ had eaten some kale, but they know that the food that comes off is ready to go. And so thank you for your patience and let me share my grandkids.
Well, thank you, Dr. Shavers. Thank you for sharing those beautiful kids, because that's what it's all about. Can never get enough of our kids. But teachers, educators, you see, it goes from the classroom and somehow ends up in your home. That is the power, the captivation of the Tower Garden. But as promised, I want you guys to listen to Miss Gay Russell, who is a national marketing director, the overall leader of our team. And she'll tell you what, she's always so gracious and humble and, and tell you what that national marketing director means. It really means that she can pay for dinner when we go to convention, but that's a whole nother story. But she's going to tell you about the special needs and what she's doing, just tremendous work. So I wanted to make sure that she had an opportunity to not only speak about that, but she's going to touch a little bit about the homeschooling, because she's going to mention some of our other partners and great leaders that are doing something about the homeschooling, because, that's the environment we are right now. So a lot of parents are finding themselves homeschooling. So with no further ado, Miss Gay Russell, hello.
No, right. And it's just delightful to be here with everybody that is wanting to make a difference with kids. And that's been my whole career. And that's how Sanja and I met, through our passion with kids and making a difference with health.
Gay, I don't think we can see you. I think I'm still on the screen somehow.
No. Can you guys, the rest of you guys see me? Yes.
There you go.
Okay. All right. So I'm a bit ruddy because I just came from working out. I thought I will try to shower. I didn't have time. So I'm like, just sit down and do it. And so, but
we love it. You're real. You're a real person.
And, just even, all right. So what I was just saying was that Sanja and I met through our passion about kids and making a difference with kids and getting whole foods into them. And what I found with all of the kids, no matter what the disability, and so my heart just lights up with, the things that Lynette is doing and that Felicia's doing with those kids, because the special needs kids, it's one time when they get to feel like they're a part of everybody else. There's no difference when you're planting seeds. Every one of the skills they can do. I had a little girl that was it's hardly able to move anything. And we have pictures of her, using her hand with somebody else's help to plant those seeds and to fill the water in the Tower Garden. So it just reached my heart in a deep way when I would see them being able to interact with others doing the same kind of tasks. And I just thought, there's so many pieces to nature that are so important for mental health. And one of them is just the fact that it's really important for your brain health and your interaction. And it's sort of the neutralizer when you get out in nature. People's differences not so obvious. And actually Dr. Sears, who we're going to be hearing from, in September, did a whole presentation once about a book that talked about nature and your brain and nature, and somebody did a lot of research on it. I mean, we don't have to do that research. We know what it feels like, right? But there's I just encourage all of you who are thinking about it for your schools. And Joyce had asked for some information on the grants, and I'll be shooting that out. I don't know, we have a way of knowing other people that might want it, or talk to your upline. I know on the Tower Garden site, Sanja can say that specifically where it is, where the files are, but I do have some files, so I'm going to send some of those out. But there's a Tower Garden Facebook place where you can get information on grants. And but the thing that I also wanted to say is that I've used it for social skills. Some of the kids, like certain parts of the Tower Garden. I found that one of my little guys liked just doing the seeds. Another person, he was very, he was very Asperger's and very, bright little guy, and he loved the pH. That was his scientific responsibility. And so allow the kids to pick and choose, and then try something new. Say, now let's try to give something different, because it's important for us to all learn, whether or not we would like something like that. The social skills part of it, which as a social worker in schools, that's what I loved, and I would do with my kids in my practice, because as they're cutting, like Lynette said, you have to eat it. And when it's time to cut it, we were cutting it. And I had kids that came in the first time they saw me, and they had a candy bar in their hand. And I have pictures of them now coming in and going up to the Tower Garden and grabbing some kale and eating the kale instead. And so that impact that's there for them, and their own health and their focus is real instrumental, and they get excited about it. But we would use it to share. It's like, all right, let's all, everybody had we had little name tags on their seeds, and we always started with seeds, because the kids do love the seeds. And we would, and some young girl she said, well, my job is going to be, I would be really good at making decorated signs for everybody. So she put a lot of time and effort into the signs that we put on little stickers. You have to kind of put them with some tape over top of them, because the water will get on them some, and if you're misting, but that was all right. Gave her another project to do again. And then when it was time to share, I said, okay, let's go practice. We practiced in the room, right? We're going to go to, this other office, because when I was in my practice, we're going to go to another office, and we're going to say, excuse me, could I please share some, kale with you? And then they had to practice waiting and listening and having conversation with somebody else. And for special needs kids, especially kids on the spectrum that are not very verbal or get very shy, that was another really great tool to use. It was also a really good experience. One time we went to a barbershop, because these were all I was in like one of those strip malls, and the owner of the barbershop had always been really good about it. The guys from the UPS store were wonderful. But one of the guys there got really pushy, and he said, I'm going to give you some money for that kale. And I said, we prompted him that he was going to say, no, thank you. I'd just like to gift you the kale. And so then we really got to practice. How do you manage when you say no to somebody and they keep pushing? Because that, it's also, as Felicia and Lynette know, the abuse of kids, special needs kids, it's like 70% of special needs kids will get abused in their lives. 70%, doesn't it just like goes to the core of me? And I could use the Tower Garden as a practice to be able to say no, to be firm about your no. And then after that, we practiced saying no with a strong voice. Because again, special needs kids don't say no with a strong voice. They'll say no like, we would practice, somebody on a bus, puts their hand on your leg. What do you say? Most special needs kids would say, don't do that. And then we'd have to practice. No, pretend like you're talking to your sister. Stop that, and speak up loudly. So we were using the Tower Garden for that. And it was really neat just to see the unfolding. There's so many things you can do if you just, embrace it. And the kids, like everybody has said, they just love the interaction and being a part of it all with each other. And then being able to take something or talk about when we grew cilantro. Oh, I don't like cilantro, but my grandmother does. And I said, what a nice gift. Let's write a little note to your grandmother. And then you're going to take a bag home of cilantro for your grandmother. So that's just some of the pieces. I just love the whole idea of everybody being here and using this in whatever way you can, and just be creative. Ask the kids, they'll give you the ideas. So thank you so much, Troy.
Okay, thank you. I mean, that is some, just blows your mind, especially the part where you're saying 70% of all special needs kids are getting abused. And I always say that what we're doing, we're inspiring healthy living, but we are restoring hope and literally restoring dreams in a lot of cases. I'm working with the local Boys and Girls Clubs. We're going to get 10 towers to them, hopefully the next couple of weeks, I hope. As I told them, I want to restore hope and dreams, because around in the DC area, there's been street violence that some children have been taken from us far too early, and they really need some hope and encouragement. And I'm going to do everything in my power to give them moments of hope and restore some dreams. But this is what this company does. And I always say the fundamentals of the Juice Plus Foundation is feeding minds, fueling bodies, and fostering communities. And those are strong, strong statements that we all live by. We practice what we preach. We invest in our communities. We invest in our kids. We invest in the families, because these are the values, the core values that's going to make this world a better place. And I say world because we are in 25 countries, getting ready to go to Mexico. And we always are looking for people to join this mission. Doesn't matter if you're an educator, teacher, you're a coach, you're a lawyer, you're a doctor, you're a nurse, you work retail, you're in the banking, does not drive a taxi, it does not matter your background. If you're 18 years old and you love people and you just want to help others, then we want you to join this mission. We need you. Again, because we're growing. We are growing, and we need to touch every community, every family that's out there. So I just want to thank all the teachers from tonight, Lynette, Felicia, Dr. Shavers, Gay Russell. I just want to thank you from the bottom of my heart. You know what this means to me, and you know what you mean to me. And Team Sentient, I'm not sure if there's anybody else from the team that's on the call, but again, just thank you all for being my teammate, my partners. And that being said, thank you again, and get back to the person who invited you. But all you teachers and educators, we're going to make sure you get this recording, and we will be in touch with you real soon. And we have all the resources. If you need help getting the right person in the school, we can help you with that. If you need the grant information, we can help you with that. We even have fundraising resources that I can help you with that. So don't let anything stop you from blessing those kids, okay? Nothing will stand in your way. We will help you every step of the way. So unless anyone else has anything else to say, we can stop the recording. But again, thank you, everyone. God bless you, and have a great night.